What up YouTube? How are we feeling today? Hope you're doing great, hope you're doing fantastic. Back with another Division 2 video and back with another banger of a build. And this is quite a unique build. There are not many content creators out there that made this combination, and this is so much fun. This is a very nice combination between a lot of damage output and still a decent amount of survivability. Yes, this combination does a lot. Like always, I'm gonna show you some gameplay. It's gonna take a little bit longer than you're used to, but as always, I have of course the timestamps in the descriptions down below, or of course check the chapters that YouTube put into the video. But this build, guys, this is so much fun. A run and gun build, a full red build, but still have a decent amount of armor regeneration and or survivability. Definitely check out this video, definitely check out this build, and you need to try this. This is a lot of fun, and this is quite a unique build. But enough intro, guys, let's dive right into the gameplay. And you know, you can skip over to the build if you want to. Only hit up the description for the timestamps. But guys, enjoy!
This outpost, the True Sons will be a direct threat to the campus. I think Firing grenade! Eat this! I have the target.
Vital signs critical.
Got a visual on additional hostiles in the memorial compound.
Possible target. Can't move here. I'll set up my turret. Fire! Moving up! I'm mobilizing! Gonna go around. Enemy flanking! Don't get hit!
Don't worry, you're gonna be fine.
We're coming down.
Dead meat. They flanked us.
You are going down.
All clear.
They're friendly out there.
Quiet. Listen.
Who's up hit?
You're going. One's mine. Knock you down. Got your back. Got no eyes on target. Damn. One side over there. It's Foundry. I'm up.
From their control center. That should keep them from being able to transport those boarders loaded with DC-62.
Incapacitating target.
You like that?
detected.
What the fuck? Back the fuck up! God damn it!
Critical systems exposed. Data transfer halted. High-risk target approaching. Area secure.
And there we are, guys, at the build breakdown. Of course, as usual, we start with our specialization. We are using the gunner specialization. And why are we using gunner specialization? Because of course we're getting an extra 10% armor on kill. This is mostly why we use the gunner specialization. It's also nice to have a third reload that's 50% faster. And then next to that, of course, our armor kits repair 100% and grant 30% bonus armor for 10 seconds. This definitely helps out, and of course, we generate 10% of our total armor capacity every 60 seconds, and party members recover 5 seconds. So you also are boosting your party members a little bit, so you are sure that you will always have ammo when you're running and gunning around with this build. So let's jump over to the skills that we're using. My first skill is the Reviver Hive. Why the Reviver Hive? Because we're running around with a full red build. Yes, this is still a full red build, but it has a lot of survivability as well. Because, of course, the setup that we are using with the build itself. And then, of course, as you saw in the gameplay, the Memento backpack at full stacks, of course, gives us that extra 3% armor regeneration. But still, it can be done that you can get taken out. If a bomber runs up to you or multiple bombers run up to you, they explode right in your face, there is a chance that you get taken out, or a group of enemy is focus firing you, then you can go down, and the Revive Hive is a very, very nice thing to run around with then, of course. I have 10% revive armor repair on there, 5% range and 10% health. Next to that, we're using the cam launcher and the riot foam. Like you saw in the gameplay before, you can just trap enemies, run around, make sure that your Lady Death is on full stacks again, and then take their asses out. This is so much fun to play with. I started playing with this like a month or a month and a half ago. And of course showed you with that grudge build. It's still a lot of fun to run around with that build. But since then I love using the cam launcher. Trapping the enemies, they will not aggro you and they're only focused on getting loose on the foam that is around their body. So you can easily take them out. Or of course run around, make sure that your armor is back, or the stacks of the Lady Death then of course. For the cam launcher, I chose for 9.8% on share duration and 1 extra ammo. Because we're running around with the Memento, we have 1 extra skill tier, so that gives us 3 ammo pellets for our cam launcher. But let's jump over to the guns that we're using. And the main gun you are using is the Lady Death. Yes, this is the run and gun build. You're so freaking fast with the Lady Death, and you can do, of course, a lot of damage. My Lady Death is on expertise level 15, so I'm getting an extra 15% weapon damage. And this boosts my weapon damage up to 105.5k without any of the procs active on my build. So this can get up to that 117, 118k in total damage just by proccing our build. This is just a menace. And why are we using the Lady Death? Of course, through the Breathe Free talent. When moving, gain 4 stacks per second or 8 stacks if you're sprinting, up to a total of 32 stacks. We have a mag of 32, so a full mag will give us all the amplified damage. Every single bullet in that mag will be amplified by 75%. And of course, if we take somebody out, we get an extra 20% movement speed for 10 seconds, and this helps out a lot, especially against those biggies. If they want to aggro you, just run around, run circles around them. They cannot hit you, and just take them out, foam them down, take them out, shoot their weak points, whatever you want to go for. It's pretty easy to take them out by then. Just run around with the Lady Death with that extra 20% movement speed, and of course trap them with your foam. Next to that, I'm using the Kingbreaker. I'm only using Kingbreaker because some of the missions have elevated enemies. We cannot reach those enemies before we take him out. Then a door opens, so then I switch over to my Kingbreaker to take him out. But mostly, I'll go for my Lady Death, of course. The Kingbreaker has damage to target out of cover on there. The rest is all maxed out. Again, 15% extra weapon damage because I have it on 15 expertise level. And then next to that we have 3 critical hit chance mods on there, and of course the extra 20% rounds. And of course, because it's the named AR, the Kingbreaker, it comes with perfect flatline. Then next to that, I'm just running around with the TDI card. You can go for whatever handgun you want. I would go for a handgun that you do not have proficient yet. So use a handgun that you do not have proficient yet. This is just a straight up easy way. It goes slow, but yes, this is an easy way to get all your handguns up to that expertise level 10 without farming for it, or of course using your materials. But let's jump over to the build, shall we? For my chest, I'm using a Sokolov chest. Why the Sokolov? Because of course it gives us an extra 10% SMG damage. It's all maxed out, an extra headshot damage on there, critical hit damage, a critical hit damage mod, and then of course 15% weapon damage. And I chose for Obliterate. Why Obliterate? Because we're running and gunning. We have a fast shooting SMG, so Obliterate get procced really fast, especially if you are running around solo, you are attacking a group of enemies, foam them down and just take them out every single time. The Obliterate, of course, critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds and stacks up to 25 times. So at the max stacks, at the top of this Obliterate, we can get a 25% extra weapon damage. Then over to my backpack. And like you saw in the gameplay, of course, guys, we're using the Memento backpack. And why the Memento backpack? Because, of course, this comes with 3 core attributes. The weapon damage, the armor core, and the skill tier. Next to that, I chose for the 12% critical hit damage mod on there. This gives us a little bit more survivability with, of course, the armor. Will give us an extra pellet for our foam launcher with the skill tier. And then, of course, the weapon damage, because this is a full red build, run and gun build. Why? Again, for the Memento, because this is kill confirmed. Kill confirmed will drop some trophies when you take an enemy out. Pick up those trophies and you will get a short-term buff. Because we're running around with a full red build, we have 6 core reds, 6 core weapon damage. We're getting an extra 30% weapon damage every time that we pick up a trophy. So run around, take somebody out, pick up a trophy, go back to the other enemy and take him out. You have an extra 30% weapon damage for 10 seconds. Next set, of course, because we're running one blue core and one skill core, we are getting an extra 5% skill efficiency and extra 10% bonus armor whenever we pick up a trophy. The trophies have a long-term buff as well, as we all probably know, but if you didn't know, you can collect up to 30 trophies. The 30 trophies is the max stacks, and we can get an extra 30% weapon damage, 30% skill efficiency and 3% armor regeneration. Again, this gives us a lot of survivability and an extra damage output. So let's jump over to the rest of the build, guys, and this is why this build is so interesting and quite unique. There are not that many content creators that made a build around this gear set, because we're talking about the Foundry. Yes, guys, we're running around with a full red Foundry. As we know, the Foundry will give us an extra 10% armor, 1% armor regeneration and 50% shield health. We're not using the shield, and a lot of people think that you need to use a shield with Foundry, but you don't have to. As the 4-piece, the makeshift repairs read, whenever you or your shield take damage, 20% of that amount is repaired to both over 15 seconds. So even if you get hit, you still get that extra 20% of armor regeneration over 15 seconds. And this is why this build is a full red build, but still has a decent amount of survivability, with the full procs of the memento giving us an extra 3% armor regeneration, and then of course an extra 20% armor regeneration over 15 seconds from our Foundry. Again, I chose for a full red core weapon damage on there, critical hit damage and critical hit damage mod, and I did exactly the same for all the other pieces. Rolled the weapon damage over there and went for a critical hit chance on this, because I always want to aim towards that 50 to 55% critical hit chance before I go into critical hit damage. Then over to my knee pads, exactly the same weapon damage, and this has 11.4% critical hit damage. I can optimize it one more time to get it to the max, and exactly the same for the gloves. 15% weapon damage and then a 6% critical hit chance. And this is the build, guys, like a 4-piece Foundry, all reds, going for a Sokolov for that extra 10% SMG damage, and then of course going for the memento, give us some extra survivability with the extra armor core, and of course that extra 3% armor regeneration, and boosting up our damage even more at full stacks with an extra 30% weapon damage. Then of course running around with the Lady Death, this is the gun that we mostly use. So let's jump over to the stats and see what this base stats are for this build. So the base damage is 105.4k weapon damage. And then next to that we have a 53% critical hit chance and a 121.4% critical hit damage. If we maxed out our full build, we have 122% critical hit damage. Next to that we're of course having an extra 10% headshot damage from our chest. But man, guys, this is of course when it's not procced. When we are procced, we have almost 118k weapon damage, guys. Of course, the critical hit chance and the critical hit damage won't change, but that 118k. So we're going up 13k only by boosting up our memento. And then, of course, next to that, we have 100 armor on kill, or 100k armor on kill, or almost 100k armor on kill, because of course that 10% armor on kill that we get from our specialization. And then next to that we have 9.9k armor regeneration. But again, this is on the base. So whenever our memento kicks in, we can get up to that 39, almost 40k armor regeneration. Yes, guys, this helps out a lot. And then, of course, next to that, the Foundry doesn't show up on your armor regeneration. That is just from the gear set itself. So that extra 20% armor generation that you will get back over 15 seconds does not show up on your stats. And this is why this is such a fun build to play around with, and I think pretty unique build. Of course, a few other content creators had made this build as well, but we always go into chat, we always have some fun on Twitch/IamPurePrime when I'm streaming and we're just testing out builds. I always ask the chat, okay guys, what are we going to build today? And last week we tested out a few different versions of this build, and this is one of the very finest builds that you can put together. Definitely try it out and come back to the video. Hit me up in the comments down below how you are liking it. Or if you have this build already, what would you change or what did you change? I would love to know what you think about this build and if you're running around with this build as well. So hit me up in the comments down below what you think about this. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribers button. And of course, notification bell. PurePrime out.